Good afternoon, everyone. I stand before you today not just as your Chief Minister, but as a proud Albertan, born and raised with the values of hard work, resilience, and the belief that every family, no matter where they come from, deserves a fair shot at success. Alberta has always been a land of opportunity, from our wide-open plains to the peaks of the Rockies, from Fort McMurray to Medicine Hat, and I am here today to talk about how we will preserve and strengthen that opportunity for every Albertan. Today, I'm announcing a major workforce investment, and I will also address an evolving, and deeply concerning, international trade situation that affects every one of us. But first, let's talk about jobs. Alberta's economy is built on the backs of its people. Our workers are second to none, skilled, innovative, and determined. Today, I'm proud to announce a historic investment in Alberta's workforce. This initiative will create thousands of new jobs across our province, with a focus on sectors that matter most to everyday life. Retail, including grocery stores, clothing outlets, and electronics. Automotive services, supporting both sales and maintenance. Supply chains, the lifeblood of our provincial economy, from transportation to warehousing. We know these industries were hit hard during previous years of uncertainty, and we are determined to stabilize and strengthen them. This new investment will ensure employers can hire more Albertans, and that workers will have access to fair wages, upskilling programs, and career security. This is not just about short-term hiring. It's about building a foundation for long-term success, by partnering with businesses, technical schools, and community organizations to create a stronger, more adaptable workforce. Let me speak plainly, life has become more expensive. Housing, groceries, gas, even basic goods have all increased in price. That's why this government is also investing in affordability relief measures. We're expanding the Alberta Family Affordability Tax Credit and boosting rural transportation subsidies. We are cutting red tape that limits housing development and introducing new incentives for affordable rental construction. Our goal is simple: Albertans must be able to live where they work and enjoy the fruits of their labor, not merely survive but thrive. Let me be clear, hope remains strong in Alberta. And under this government, that hope is not misplaced. Now to the matter that's rightly on the minds of many, the current trade situation. Earlier this month, we were cautiously optimistic when we saw signs of dialogue between Washington and Ottawa. There was reason to believe we were headed for a resolution to the trade dispute with the United States. But unfortunately, that hope has been undermined. Despite early signals from President Trump's administration, and the willingness of Prime Minister Mark Carney's government to engage in direct negotiations, the United States has reversed course. As of today, the 35% tariff on Canadian goods remains in full effect. These tariffs are punitive. They hurt Alberta farmers, manufacturers, and small business owners. They threaten cross-border jobs and drive up prices for consumers on both sides. Alberta will not stand idly by. We are urging the federal government to take decisive action. Canada cannot and should not bear this burden alone. We need stronger leadership from Ottawa to fight back and protect our national industries, but while we wait, we act. Effective Friday, August 1, 2025, at 12 a.m. Eastern Time, the Alberta government will implement retaliatory tariffs on a carefully selected list of American goods that have direct substitutes in Alberta or Canada, to minimize cost increases for our citizens. This is not a decision we take lightly. We believe in fair trade. We believe in cooperation. But Alberta will always defend its economic interests. And I promise you this government has your back. This moment, while difficult, is also an opportunity. For too long, Alberta, and indeed much of Canada, has been overly reliant on a single trading partner. That must change. And it will change. We are accelerating efforts to build new partnerships with other provinces and territories through interprovincial free trade, with European markets, particularly in clean energy technology, with Asia-Pacific nations for agricultural and raw materials exports, and with emerging economies that are eager to trade fairly and responsibly. Diversifying Alberta's trade portfolio is not just a smart move, it's a necessary one. And we will do it with speed and strategy. This fall, our legislative session will be among the most ambitious in Alberta's history. Let me close, not just as your Chief Minister, but as one of you, a fellow Albertan who knows this land, this history, and these people. Let me speak plainly. Not from a script. Not from talking points. But from the heart. Because what we face right now as a province is not only economic and political. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's about our sense of identity, who we are, who we've always been, and who we are destined to become. Albertans are proud. Not arrogant but deeply proud. Proud of our fields and forests. Proud of our rigs and rails. Proud of our languages, our faiths, our freedom. Proud of our ability to look out for one another, not just in times of plenty, but in the toughest hours. That pride was not given to us. It was earned by generations who came before us, some in search of land, others in search of peace, some fleeing poverty, some fleeing war, all of them drawn here by the promise of possibility. By those who cleared forests and laid railways. By Métis and First Nations peoples whose stewardship of the land goes back millennia. By the oil patch workers, the farmers, the nurses, the loggers, the teachers, the truck drivers, the students, and the seniors. We come from strong stock. We are people of perseverance. People of passion. People of purpose. And when we are tested, and we are being tested now, we rise. We don't complain. We don't collapse. We build. We adapt. We fight forward. We are not waiting for Washington to respect us. And we are certainly not waiting for global investors to determine our value. We will define Alberta's destiny, not with caution but with courage. We will define our future through investment in our people, because a province is only as strong as its families, its schools, its workforce, and its dreams. Protection of our industries, because we will not let short-term politics destroy long-term livelihoods. Expansion of our markets, because no one border, no one treaty, and no one tariff will trap us. And the building of a resilient, diversified economy that doesn't boom and bust but grows, innovates, and leads. That is the Alberta we are fighting for. And who are we fighting for? We're fighting for the welder in Fort McMurray, who works 12-hour shifts in the cold and still finds time to coach his daughter's hockey team. We're fighting for the ranching family in Brooks, who's been raising cattle on the same land for 3 generations, through droughts, floods, and foreign market changes. We're fighting for the new Canadian in Red Deer, who started a food truck during the pandemic and now dreams of opening a restaurant. We're fighting for the nurse in Grande Prairie, who stayed in PPE long after her body was aching, because she knew her patients needed her. We're fighting for the teenage student in Lethbridge, who studies late at night after her shift at the grocery store, believing that her education is the ticket to a better life. We're fighting for the elder on Treaty 8 territory, who wants clean water, safe housing, and a future for their grandchildren that includes cultural dignity and economic opportunity. We're fighting for the parents in Edmonton juggling 2 jobs, trying to afford both rent and groceries while still showing up for every school concert and soccer game. We're fighting for you. For every Albertan who has ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or left behind. This government sees you. We see your struggle, and we do not look away. We hear your questions, and we do not offer silence. We feel your hope, and we will not let it fade. Because your dreams are not too big. Alberta is big enough to hold them. Alberta is strong enough to build them. And together we are bold enough to chase them. Let me say this again, because it matters more than any headline, more than any partisan speech, more than any budget line. This government has your back. We will work not just from 9 to 5, but morning to midnight if that's what it takes. We will fight for your job, your children, your healthcare, your right to be treated fairly. And we will never, never back down from what is right. We will fight for our farmers who feed this province and the world. Our energy workers who built our prosperity and now lead us toward a cleaner future. Our small business owners who create 2/3 of Alberta's jobs and need our support, not red tape. Our young people who are not the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of now. We live in a moment when trust in institutions is fragile. When the pace of change leaves many behind. When families work harder than ever and still struggle to get ahead. When the cost of groceries, rent, childcare, and healthcare weighs on the shoulders of working people like a storm that won't break. And amid that uncertainty, you deserve to know one thing without question. You are not alone. This government doesn't exist to serve itself. We exist to serve you. To serve the parent packing lunches before the sun is up, and working 2 jobs to keep food on the table. To serve the student staying up late at night, hoping their education will lead to a better life. To serve the small business owner who took a leap of faith, and just wants a fair shot. To serve the retiree who gave a lifetime to this country, and should never have to choose between prescriptions and rent. To serve the newcomer searching for opportunity, and the worker who's been here for decades and feels forgotten. To serve the dreamers, the doers, the builders, the believers, and we are not here to work from 9 to 5, punch a clock, and call it a day. No. We will work from morning to midnight, if that's what it takes. Because that's how real life works. Because dignity doesn't run on a schedule. Because fairness doesn't sleep. And because our responsibility to you doesn't end when the cameras turn off, it begins there. We will fight for your job, not just to preserve it, but to make sure it pays fairly, offers security, and gives you time to live a life outside of it. We will fight for your children, for better schools, for safer neighborhoods, and for a future that gives them hope instead of fear. We will fight for your healthcare, because no one should go bankrupt because they got sick. We will fight for your rights in the workplace, in the courtroom, and in every corner of society where injustice still lives. Fairly, regardless of your race, gender, faith, or background. This is our mission. It is our duty. And it is our solemn promise. Now, I won't stand here and tell you that everything will be easy. It won't be. There will be opposition. There will be critics. There will be powerful interests who say, slow down. Wait your turn. It's not the right time. But history teaches us that progress never happens when we wait politely for permission. It happens when we stand up, when we speak out, and when we refuse to back down. We will never back down from what is right. Not when the powerful push back. Not when the polls go up or down. Not when it's unpopular or inconvenient. Because leadership isn't about chasing applause. It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard. We will not be distracted by division, by fearmongering, or by those who try to turn neighbor against neighbor. We will not allow cynicism to outshout hope. We will not sit quietly while rights are stripped away, or when dignity is denied to even one person in this country, because we believe something fundamental. That everyone, not just the privileged few, deserves a fair shot. That justice is not a luxury for some, but a right for all. That opportunity should not be determined by your zip code, your surname, or the balance of your bank account. And that government at its best can be a force for good, for fairness, for compassion, for progress. We don't claim to have all the answers. We don't pretend the path will always be smooth. But we make this commitment. We will walk it with you. When times are good, we'll celebrate together. When times are tough, we'll shoulder the burden with you. We will listen. We will learn. We will act. And we will never, ever give up on you, or this country. So let us move forward, not with fear but with faith. Not with bitterness but with hope. Not with division but with unity, the kind that builds bridges, not walls. Because when we stand together, when we truly believe in one another, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. And let me be clear, we're not just fighting for your present, we're building your future. A future where no one has to beg for basic care. A future where working full-time means living well, not barely surviving. A future where every child can see themselves in their leaders, in their textbooks, in the mirror, and know they matter. A future where no person is invisible, no dream is too bold, and no injustice is ignored just because it's been tolerated for too long. We are building a society that belongs to all of us. Not just to those born into privilege. Not just to those who look or love or worship a certain way. Not just to those with the loudest voices or the deepest pockets, but to everyone. To the farm worker rising with the sun, the teacher preparing lessons late into the night, the immigrant family carving out a new life with nothing but hope and hard work. That concludes my news conference today, held on behalf of our government. I want to take a moment to extend my sincere gratitude to all of you, members of the press, government colleagues, civil servants, community leaders, and above all, the people of Alberta Territory, for your presence, your attention, and your continued engagement in the democratic life of our region. Stand before you not only as a representative of government, but as a fellow citizen, someone who, like all Albertans, believes deeply in the strength, the promise, and the potential of this territory. It is truly one of the greatest honors of my life to continue serving as your Alberta Territorial Chief Minister. I do so with humility, with responsibility, and with a clear understanding of the trust that has been placed in me by the people of this land. In these times, which are marked by complexity, global uncertainty, and rising local challenges, leadership must be grounded in more than politics. It must be grounded in principle. And that principle, above all else, must be service. Public service is not about titles, power, or personal ambition, it is about responding to the needs of people. It is about standing up for those who feel unheard, overlooked, or uncertain about the future. It is about building a government that doesn't just speak, but listens, that doesn't just manage, but leads. Today's press conference reflects our commitment to doing just that. We have addressed a number of crucial issues, from economic stability to climate resilience, from healthcare access to regional development, from Indigenous partnerships to youth empowerment. And while the headlines may focus on announcements, I want to be clear that behind every decision, every policy, every budget line, are the lives, livelihoods, and aspirations of Albertans. We do not forget that. We never will. Let me speak plainly, the road ahead will demand the best of us. Whether we're dealing with the pressures of inflation, the unpredictability of natural disasters, or the evolving needs of our growing population, we must remain steadfast, united, and future-focused. Our government is not here to offer quick fixes or short-term appeasement. We are here to build for the long term, to lay foundations that will benefit not only today's generation, but our children and grandchildren. That is the measure of true leadership. I want to take a moment to recognize the thousands of dedicated public servants across Alberta Territory who give their best each and every day, in schools, in hospitals, in emergency response, in rural outreach, and in policy development. These individuals work not for recognition but for results. Bonjour à tous. Jamie teens devant vous aujourd'hui non seulement en tant que votre ministre en chef, mais en tant qu'Albertain fier, né et élevé avec les valeurs de travail acharné, de résilience, et de la conviction que chaque famille, peu importe d'où elles viennent, mérite une chance équitable de réussir. L'Alberta a toujours été une terre d'opportunités, de nos vastes plaines ouvertes aux sommets des rocheuses, à Fort McMurray, à Medicine Hat. Et je suis ici aujourd'hui pour parler de la manière dont nous allons préserver et renforcer cette opportunité pour chaque Albertain. Aujourd'hui, j'annonce un investissement majeur dans la main-d'œuvre. Et je vais également aborder une situation commerciale internationale évolutive et profondément préoccupante qui affecte chacun d'entre nous. Parlons des emplois. L'économie de l'Alberta repose sur les dos de ses habitants. Nos travailleurs n'ont rien à envier à personne, ils sont qualifiés, innovants et déterminés. Aujourd'hui, je suis fier d'annoncer un investissement historique dans la main-d'œuvre de l'Alberta. Cette initiative créera des milliers de nouveaux emplois dans notre province, en mettant l'accent sur les secteurs qui comptent le plus dans la vie quotidienne. Le commerce de détail, y compris les épiceries, les magasins de vêtements et l'électronique. Els services automobiles soutenant à la fois les ventes et l'entretien. Les chaînes d'approvisionnement, le nerf de notre économie provinciale. Want tot de rinsen en inventsgangen hier or neengsmaatverts met hem in heb scheet arbeidsbumnen zitten mortens ergens. Et nous sommes déterminés à la stabiliser et à les renforcer. Un nouvel investissement garantira que les employeurs pourront embaucher plus d'Albertains et que les travailleurs auront accès à des salaires équitables. De ban mertog versus turn. Si n'est pas seulement une question d'embauche à court terme. Dimensionum. Bishop de snege barosite, fenten men in de sambantes win currizo, des écoles techniques et des organisations communautaires pour créer une main d'œuvre plus forte, plus adaptable. Les seds moi parler franchement. Les logement les courses lessons, même les biens de première nécessité ont tous augmenté en prix. Passons maintenant à la question qui préoccupe à juste titre beaucoup de monde, la situation commerciale actuelle. Plus tot ce mois-ci, nos étions prudemment optimistes en voyant des signes de dialogue entre Washington et Ottawa. Il y avait des raisons de croire que nous étions en route vers une résolution du différent terrain commercial avec les États-Unis. Mais malheureusement cet espoir est dissipé. Malgré les premiers signaux de l'administration du président Trump, et la volonté du gouvernement du premier ministre Mark Carney de s'engager dans des négociations directes, États-Unis ont changé de cap. À ce jour, les tarifs de 35% sur les biens canadiens restent en vigueur. First, im kijken is defended mumpers en bedrijfsniveaus or shape proversens. Ils menacent les emplois transfrontaliers et font grimper les prix pour les consommateurs des deux côtés. L'Alberta ne restera pas les bras croisés. Nous exhortons le gouvernement fédéral à prendre des mesures décisives. Le Canada ne peut ne doit pas porter ce fardeau seul. Divorce, wanneer je fne des imbund nens, ou leid de bardes ganas nenkleef de oas ilir kabulthiasum zitdapt. He komt du vendredi, 1 out 2000, and 20 Isaiah 0, her de l'Est. El gouvernement de l'Alberta metra en over des tarifs de reprise sur une liste de soignosement sélectionné de biens américains, des biens qui ont des substituts directs en Alberta au Canada pour minimiser les augmentations de codes pour nos citoyens. Ce n'est pas une décision que nous prenons à la légère. Nous croyons au commerce équitable. Nous croyons à la coopération. Mais l'Alberta défendre toujours ses intérêts économiques. D'abord, fiduciaire. Ce moment, bien que difficile, est aussi une opportunité. Trop longtemps, l'Alberta, et en effet une grande partie du Canada, a été trop dépendante d'un seul partenaire commercial dot. C'est la Deutschanger. Laissez-moi conclure, non seulement en tant que votre ministre en chef, mais en tant qu'un d'entre vous, un Albertain qui connaît cette terre, cette histoire et ses gens. Laissez-moi parler franchement. Pas d'un script. Pas de points de discussion. Mais du parce que c'est à quoi nous faisons face en ce moment, en tant que province n'est pas seulement économique et politique. C'est émotionnel. C'est spirituel. Il s'agit de notre sens de l'identité, qui nous sommes, qui nous avons toujours été, et qui nous sommes destinés à devenir les Albertains sans fiers. Pas arrogance mais profondément fiers. Fiers de nos champs et de nos forts. Fiers de nos plateformes et de nos rails. Fiers de nos langues, de nos croyances, de notre liberté. Fiers de notre capacité à valer les uns sur les autres, non seulement en temps d'abondance, mais dans les heures les plus difficiles, cette fierté ne nous a pas été donnée. Elle a été gagnée. Sardes generations qui nous ont précédés, certaines à la recherche de terres, d'autres à la recherche de paix, alimentés, d'obsfés. Tous attirés par la promesse de possibilités. Par ceux qui ont défriché des forêts et construit des chemins de fer. Par les maides et les peuples des premières nations dont la gestion de la terre remonte à des millénaires. Par les travailleurs du secteur pétrolier, les agriculteurs, les infirmières, les bûcherons, les enseignants, les camionneurs, les étudiants. Et les aînés nous venons d'une ligne forte. Nous sommes des gens de persévérance. Allemand vos. Des gens de but. Et quand nous sommes mis à l'épreuve et nous sommes en ce moment, nous élevons. Nous ne nous plaignons pas. Nous ne nous effondrons.
Nous construisons.
Nous nous adaptons. Nous avançons. Nous n'attendons pas que Washington nous respecte. Et nous n'attendons certainement pas que des investisseurs mondiaux déterminent notre valeur. Nous luttons pour la famille d'éleveurs à Brooks qui élèvent du bétail sur la même terre depuis 3 générations à travers les sécheresses, les inondations et les changements de marché étrangers. Nous luttons pour le nouveau Canadien à Red Deer qui a lancé un camion de nourriture pendant la pandémie et rêve maintenant d'ouvrir un restaurant. Nous luttons pour l'infirmière à Grande Prairie qui restait en a longtemps presque son corps et commencé à souffrir parce qu'elle savait que ses patients avaient besoin d'elle. Nous luttons pour l'étudiante adolescente à Lethbridge qui étudie tard dans la nuit après son service au supermarché, croyant que son éducation est le ticket pour une vie meilleure. C'est luttons pour l'aîné sur le territoire du traité. Et qui veut de l'eau potable. Un logement sur un avenir pour leurs petits enfants qui inclut la dignité culturelle et des opportunités économiques. Kib is alin simeripistman. Guasen biskund. Essayant de payer à la fois lawyer les courses tout en étant présent à chaque concert scolaire et match de football. Nos luttons pour vous. Pour chaque Albertain qui s'est déjà senti négligé, sous estimé laissé pour compte d'autres. Si gouvernement vous voit. Nous voyons votre lutte, et nous ne détournons pas le regard. Nous entendons vos questions, et nous n'offrons pas le silence. Nous ressentons votre espoir, et nous ne le laisserons pas s'éteindre. Parce que vos rêves ne sont pas trop grands. L'Alberta est assez grande pour les accueillir. L'Alberta est assez fort pour les construire. Yet ensemble, nous sommes assez audacieux pour les poursuivre. Laissez moi le redire car c'est la compte plus qu'un n'importe quel titre. Plus qu'un n'importe quel discours partisan, plus qu'un n'importe quelle ligne budgétaire. Si gouvernement est de votre côté. Nos travaillons non seulement de 9, 0 à 17 mais de matin à minuit si c'est ce qu'il faut. Nous battons pour votre emploi, vos enfants, votre santé, votre droit à être traité équitablement. Et nous ne reculerons jamais.